and its writers kind of in that tradition. I don't think it violates in any way the integrity of the Bible or runs counter to it. I think it's an observation about biblical literature, both Old Testament and New, is very laconic, it's very understated. Typically the biblical authors in a few little deft strokes will sketch a character. You don't get 100 pages of psychological elaboration the way you get like in a great contemporary novelist. But what's happened as a result of that is the whole midrashic tradition emerged, first in Judaism, which is a sort of narrative and imaginative elaboration of the biblical text. So the Bible will say, Abraham goes up the mountain with Isaac. Well, I mean, what's going on at that moment in the mind and heart of Abraham? Well, the midrashic tradition loves to elaborate that. And I would say some of the elements within The Chosen are kind of like that. The Bible sketches it and it's part of the beauty of biblical narrative, that it's done in this almost modernist way that's very understated. But then artists have always loved, think of the way painters do it. Dramatists have done it. The midrashic tradition's done it, is they've imaginatively elaborated upon the biblical text. So I would put The Chosen and its writers kind of in that tradition. I don't think it violates in any way the integrity of the Bible or runs counter to it.
I think as Catholics we can just point to Ignatius. I mean, it's like the Ignatian tradition. Like, imagine what it would be like to be in this scene with Jesus and the disciples, and we do, and we write it on paper and then we go film it. But then people that aren't especially susceptible or on board with the Catholic, the myriad of Catholic traditions, won't make that connection. They won't understand, what do you mean the Ignatian? They're just like literalists, strict biblical literalists, I think, end up being where we get the criticism. And again, mind you, it's not like most criticisms, it's a vocal minority. It's like 2% of the comments and the feedback we get are, these raging, how do I say this politely? These raging dissenters that feel that we're rewriting the gospel, and then we're going to hell because of that, and all this other stuff. And
isn't one of the best examples, I think, the way Matthew's portrayed, right? That everyone finds that character so intriguing. Because the Bible, again, in a few little deft strokes, will tell you a few things about Matthew or Levi, but very imaginatively, to see him as someone kind of on the autism spectrum and someone with some obsessive compulsive qualities, but it makes the character very vivid.